good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, so let's stand and let us do the prayer first before we start our lesson. So, Lord Jesus, thank you for this hour, Lord. We are going to learn, we are going to gain wisdom. And please guide us in doing our activities and give us all the knowledge, Lord Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so no one is absent. Walang nagusugat na iwan. Hindi nagusugat na iwan. So, our topic for today is literature as a tool to assert one's unique identity and to better understand other people. And there is also a part topic which is A Shawl for Anita by Lolita and Andrada. First things first, may gusto akong ipagawa sa inyo. And this is a puzzle. I want you to fix that puzzle and tell me what does that picture represent or mean. What does that picture mean? I'm going now. I'll give you 2 minutes to finish.
Hindi yan. Uy. Ito yung building.
Oh.
Nice. Hindi ganyan. Yan, yun.
Okay, so you fixed it. And now I want you to tell me what is that message in the picture. In the given picture. In the first picture, does it see? What does it imply? A mother feeding his child. Ano?
Another eating this child.
Feeding.
Feeding his child with her own feet and
With her own head.
legs.
Mhm. And what about in the next picture?
The mother give her heart to her son.
And what does those picture represent?
Mother's care.
Mother's care.
love.
Mother's love. Yes, very good. So, it is also about mother's unconditional love. Diba? Bibigay niya ang lahat para sa kanyang anak. It's like in the first picture, diba? Suko ng mga anak, talagang bibigay niya sa anak niya kahit wala lang sa kanya. And the next one is the heart. Bibigay niya lahat ng pagmamahal. What does the heart symbolize? Love. Okay. So that picture or that activity has something to do with our lesson, and it is about literature. First things first, I want you to know that literature entertains and educates us. So lahat ng pinag-aaralan natin, movies, songs, poem, lahat yon part of
Literature.
yes, literature ang pronounce. Kaya nga pronounce nyo.
Literature.
Literature. Literature.
Literature.
So,
Literature.
i-cancel out nyo yung E.
Literature.
Mhm.
Literature. Sabi
Tapos yung A magiging E sound. Literature. It's how to pronounce literature. So, it entertains and educates us. It can teach us about the past. Diba? Yung binasa natin, The Rebirth of Freedom, the one that we tackled, that is a journal. It's also a part of literature. Helps us understand the present. And the present, it's the news, yung mga nasa dyaryo, nasa television, that is a part of literature. And it empowers us to create the future. So, through those literature, doon tayo nakakakuha ng impormasyon na nagpapatibay sa atin para sa future. kung ano yung dapat para sa future. And it reveals not only insights of individual and social character, it does not only characterize one person, kundi lahat. Everything under the earth, minsan mas malawak pa, meron pang outer space ang pinag-aaralan sa literature, but of the character of life itself. So, literature tackles the character of life. Okay, so the other definition, it helps us explore human nature, triumphs, shortcomings, and failures. Doon tayo makakapag-realize ng thematic messages. So, thematic messages are those yung main idea, the theme, thematic message. The author communicates to the reader, gain new perspectives. Dahil sa literature, nagkakaroon tayo ng pagbabago. Through reading, we understand things. And next one is, literature doesn't just make us smarter. So while we read, hindi lang tayo pinapatalino ng literature. It makes us shaping our consciences and our identities. So as we read or as we enter the world of literature, we start to change and reshape our body and mind. Okay? So when you are a student, you keep on reading and reading and reading, and you will realize that you have changed in the end. But it is for the better. Pero na lang kung ang mga binabasa mo yung mga jokes lang, mga comics lang. Kung mag-i-stay ka lang doon, wala kang masyadong matututunan. You focus on yourself. But if you read something like novels, short stories, you will realize something about your environment. So, here are the 10 common literary devices, which was on your, assignment. Pero here it is. First one is alliteration. This is one of the easiest go-to devices to use. So, alliteration involves the quick repetition, key points there, of the first letters. First letters, take note. And therefore, the first sounds of words. Repetition of first letters. So, here is an example. The white witch wanted to write a new spell. Get it? W, 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 N. Yun. The white witch wanted to write a new spell. That is what alliteration means. She sells seashells by the seashore. It all started with S. So mostly sa alliteration, it is parang homophone ang maririnig mo. Because it all has a repetitive sound of the first letter. Ano pa yun? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, di ba? Pipi. Alala niyo ba yung mga ganun niya? Anong tawag doon? Tongue twisters. Diba? Alliterations are sometimes known as tongue twisters. Kasi yung nga, the white witch wanted to write a new spell. So, yung start ng words, nauulit siya. Starting letter of words. Next one is the personification. Sino ba hindi nakakaalam sa personification? So, personification is giving inanimate objects and other phenomena human traits. When it comes to literature, personification is like, for example, fables. Fables yung, ano sa Tagalog kasi yun? Yung mga stories ng mga aso na gumagalaw, may bahay, may sarili silang bahay, nagluluto sila ng pagkain. Eh, aso naman sila. Well, in reality, ang mga aso, pinapakain ng tao. Hindi sila nakakapagluto, hindi sila nakakapag-ano. Kagaya nung story na Pagong at saka si Tipaklong. Does it happen? Really? Ay, Tipaklong. Saan pa ng fox? The fox and the turtle? Yung
Rabbit.
ay, rabbit. Wala. The rabbit and
The rabbit.
the rabbit and the turtle. So they had a race. So in reality, they don't do that. Diba? They do not speak. They do not speak. They do not do anything. For example, a movie that represents personification is, do you watch the Beauty and the Beast? Beauty and the Beast, napanood nyo na ba yun? Yung si Belle at saka si yung Beast. So in there is a personification. Yung mga cups, teacups, wardrobe, they are all walking, talking. Di ba? So here, personification, inanimate objects. So the objects will do what humans do. Well, supposedly, in reality, they do not have any right to do those things. Okay? So, I have example. The leaves dance in the wind. So, do leaves dance? No, right? Twirling round and round before bowing out and resting on the cold ground. So, ganun ang personification. So, what is the object here? The leaves. And it dance. While in reality, they don't dance. They just go with the wind. Hindi naman sila sumasayaw. Kumikinig ba sila? Hindi. So, twirling round and round. Umiikot-ikot pa sila. Nag-shot-shot sila. Ganun. So, they don't. That is what personification means. Next one. Simile. Simile, comparing two unrelated things to creating a new understanding and meaning. They are marked by the use of, ito yung key points niya, they use like, as, or such as. For example, she ran like the wind. So there is the word like. You are comparing a thing to something. Okay? Next example. His eyes were as blue as the sky. So to further understand that, he is saying that his eyes is blue. And that kind of blue is the color of the sky. Okay? Do you understand what simile is? Give me an example. Give me another example. Princess, give me an example. Anything that has light or earth or such.
The dog is eating like a person.
Okay. That's like that. What about Princess?
Her red dress like a rose.
Is like a
Rose. Red dress. Red color dress.
Oh, pwede rin that her dress is as red as a rose. Okay, do you understand similes?
Yes.
Okay. So next one is foreshadowing. So when it comes to foreshadowing, there are words, phrases, or events that hint or suggest the reader what's going to happen in the future or in the story. Foreshadowing, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na merong mangyayari muna bago mangyari yung pinaka-eksena. Okay? So first things first, for example, a broken married picture, yung broken family picture na hulog sa sahig. That is foreshadowing. So it means that the family will have a problem that can break them apart or not. That is foreshadowing. There are events, there are phrases, merong mga eksena na nagpapakita na merong mangyayari. Another example. Ano pa? Another example. May dumaan na mahina, itim na pusa. Nung papasok yung isang estudyante sa school. And then the next scene will be, he will be on the highway. Tatawid siya. Diba? What do you think will happen?
Disgrasya.
So, it comes to your mind na madidisgrasya siya dahil meron kang nakitang nadaanan niya na itim na pusa. And itim na pusa symbolizes bad luck, di ba? Okay? So, that is foreshadowing. The next one is the satire or irony. Irony is using humor, wit, or sarcasm to expose human vice or folly. For example, in television, the creators of South Park have built their success on satire, sabi niya. And the next one is, my favorite example is Jonathan Swift, A Modest Proposal. Hindi siya connected sa Philippines, but irony is something that nakakatuwa. Kumbaga, sarcastic din minsan. So, the sorbetero likes the temperature or the weather to be rainy. Something like that. So, di ba ang sorbetero yung nagbibenta ng ice cream? Ba't gugustuhin nila na laging umuulan? Hindi sila makakabenta. Something like that, it means irony. Hindi naman nila gusto yun, pero bakit ganun? Another example, the veterinarian hates being with animals. Diba? That is irony. Bakit ganon? Veterinarian siya. So, that is irony. Another example. Just give me another example. What do you think? Maybe, yeah? Jana. Irony. Parang kabaligtaran, ganun sa Tagalog. When it comes to politics, President Duterte destroys drugs, but he loves drugs. Parang ganun. Something like that. It is irony. Ano lang yun, example lang yun. Baka mamaya sabihin mo. Okay, so number 6, symbolism. Symbolism is almost like foreshadowing. So, it uses objects or action to mean something more than what appears on the surface. Example, the dawn of the new day often is used to symbolize a new beginning. So, the dawn of the new day. Ibig sabihin, hindi para bangon. Or madaling araw. It symbolizes a new beginning. Or a new life. Okay? Another example, the albatross is in the sum motif. Hindi naman ito para sa ano eh. Sa atin. Last example, in daily life, people often associate colors with ideas. Black with death or bad luck. Red with love. Ayun, mga symbolism yun. Red, we symbolize red as love. Pwede rin pink, teenage love, just like what I said. White, it means purity. Minsan ginagamit ang white. Why do we use white wedding gowns? Diba? Because it symbolizes purity. Pure love. Okay? That is a example of symbolism. Another one is, ano pa ang mga nagsisymbolize ng something? A heart. It symbolizes also love. What about, alam niyo yung leaves na ano? Yung ganito ba? Yung tatlo. Something like this. So this kind of leaf, pag nakikita niyo to, it symbolizes
Lucky.
yes, lucky. Symbolizes good luck also. Right? Or there is also the diamond in cards. Symbolizes diamond symbolizes an ace, genius. Mga ganun. Diba? Diba? Okay, so that is symbolism. The next one would be onomatopoeia. Paki-pronounce.
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
So that is how you spell onomatopoeia. O-E-I-A. O-E-I-A. Kulang na lang yun, no? I, oo na. So, onomatopoeia, these are the mimics, natural sounds, or sounds and object. These words help bring the reader into the scene by working on the senses. So, the bang, flutter, buzz, hum, that is onomatopoeia. The sound of the bird, tweet, tweet, tweet.
Ow, ow, ow.
The sound of the dog, ow, ow, ow. That is onomatopoeia. Okay? The bird says, tweet, tweet, tweet. That is just like a sentence for onomatopoeia. Number 8, metaphor. So what is metaphor? It is a device that asserts that one object is another, bringing new meaning to the original subject for a fresh understanding. Metaphor is something like simile. Pero ang simile kasi gumagamit tayo ng like, as, at saka such as. While in metaphor, you don't use those words. You are going to be straight to the point. For example, it is raining cats and dogs. That is metaphor. When you make that into a simile, it is raining like cats and dogs. So, ibig sabihin, maingay lahat ng bubong sa sa paligid. Okay? Another example. Ito, hindi nyo natin mag-apply sa so that's really for English or American literature. Another example is the red dress is rose. Hindi na ako gumamit ng like. The red dress is rose. Diba? You have another idea. You are not using like anymore. You are direct to the point, straight to the comparative thing. Ano yung example mo kanina? Yung sa simile. Yung sa simile mo kanina, yung may like.
The dog is eating like a person.
So, next sentence, do not use the word like. Ulitin mo yung sentence mo, pero remove the word like.
The dog eating a person.
Nag-iiba yung idea. So, when it comes to metaphor, ganun ang nangyayari. You remove the like, or the as, or the such as, and it will give you a new idea. Yung example ni Princess, her dress is as red as a rose. Tapos, tanggalin ko yung as. Her dress is red as her dress is red rose. Okay? So, that is metaphor. It uses simply another thing, but it does not use any more like or what. Next one is the hyperbole. From the word hyper, sobra. Diba? Exaggerating statement or idea to emphasize a point or emotion. So, first example, if I take another step, my feet will fall off. Yung paa niya lang ba ang mahuhulog? No? Okay. So, hyperbole. Sobra naman yun ba? Yung paa niya lang. Next. She's so thin, she could thread a needle. Grabe naman. Siya na siya sa karayom, di ba? That is hyperbole. Another example, if his teeth were any whiter, I'd be blind. So, ang shiny naman ng ngipin niya, nakabulag. Okay? That is hyperbole. Another example, I wash mountain of dishes. So that is hyperbole. Sobra-sobra. Another example is, another literary device is oxymoron.
Oxymoron.
Okay. So a device that puts two contradictory ideas together to create a complex meaning. For example, their relationship was an open secret. Meron bang open yung secret? Di ba sikreto nga yun? Ganon. So oxymoron is something like that. It pertains to sarcasm. The sight of the living dead shuffling on. No word, living dead. Are there any living dead? Below sent a blazing chill. Blazing chill. Blazing means hot. And chill means cold. Okay? Down her spine. The last sentence, it's hard to explain that comforting pain, masakit yun, bakit nakaka-comfort? Yeah? To those who don't understand. Okay? Oxymoron is contradicting what is the first idea. Any other example of oxymoron? Sa tingin nyo, example ng oxymoron. When I turned on the lights, it gave me the darkest spot. The lights were turned on, pero madilim. That's something oxymoron. So, after our discussion, these literary devices, I want you to have this story, which was written by Lolita Andrada. So the first paragraph will be read by Jama, and then the next will be Princess, then so on. Okay, and we start.
A Shawl for Anita by Lolita Andrada. My mother wrote us up single-handedly. It was a Herculean task for a woman so frail, dealing with 3 adolescent children, but she managed. She never finished high school, but her deft hands had skillfully eked out our living for the 4 of us. She was good at knitting. That tied us.
Okay, continue.
That
Tide us over. Why?
that tied us over.
Okay. Why? Is there something wrong?
That tied us over until the eldest got a diploma of teaching.
Why? What's happening?
Then she put up a sari-sari store to send the other children to college. Mother wanted us all to start a college degree, and she had sacrificed much to see us through. Princess!
So before you continue reading, these are the guide questions. First pala, who is the narrator? What can you say about the narrator's character?
This is Ananta saying something about the her character. Based on the turnout of event in this story, should we just judge people immediately on their actions? Why or why not?
Okay? So continue reading. Again, dun sa part na mag-see.
Ay, politika ka. May
A shawl for Anita.
A Shawl for Anita by Lolita.
Lolita. And
Sige, magtanong.
Andrada.
Andrada. mother brought us up single-handedly. It was a Herculean task for a woman so frail, dealing with three adolescent children, but she managed. She never finished high school, but her deft hands had skillfully eked out a living for the boys. She was good at knitting that tied us over until the eldest got a diploma.
Continue.
Then she put up a sari-sari store to send the other children to college. Mother wanted us all to start a college degree, and she
And she
had sacrificed as much to see us through.
Mother had a soft heart, especially for Anita. Anita was a youngest, and I, being the middle child, has always envied her. She was sickly and envied her. She was sickly, and mother willingly indulged her. My sister's whimpers never irked her. She was ever so gentle with her. When I was the impatient and jealous, I never understood my mother.
My mother, who had always been a frail woman, was much thinner now. Anita, who was married by now, had never stopped being pampered. Her lack of concern for our mother's failing health was getting on my nerves. I felt like shouting at her, calling her name when I heard her ask mother to knit a shawl for her. Mother could hardly refuse, but I knew the task was just too much for her. Her fingers had lost their flexibility. Rheumatic pain told on her knuckles that felt a million pins pricking. My heart went out to her every time I saw her painfully the knitting needles into the yarn.
The rest of us did not want to see mother lift a finger. She was too old to work, and we wanted to save her the burden of doing even the lightest household chores. Mother said she felt useless being cooped up in the house all day, doing nothing. That was before Anita Sweet talked her into